Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I took a few months, a lot of months, break, but I'm back now. I have a lot more of new ideas and I'm really excited to do some. I bring you a really nice video today where we're gonna make fun of people who think plants have feelings. So this tale all started, one too many months ago, because I procrastinate, where me and my friends were just sitting around and they told me about this show called Beyond Belief.
To find out, you must enter a world of both truth and deception, a world that is beyond belief.
They reenact small little short supernatural ghost miracle type stories, and half of them are fake.
It's totally made up.
And half of them are based on true events, which usually is just another word for fake.
It's a total fabrication.
But we were watching a show and there was this one specific case that was about a homicide in a flower shop. There's a murder in a flower shop.
What do we got? Male, Asian, about 60 years old, owns a shop. His nephew found him like this morning when he came in for work.
Oh, the hose is clean.
And one of them has a brilliant idea.
I know it sounds crazy, but Comstock hooked up a plant to a polygraph machine and exposed it to all kinds of different violent acts, like boiling a lobster alive. The needles went nuts. I saw it myself. The plant felt the lobster's pain.
You're kidding me, right?
So they basically attach this polygraph to the plant. The nephew of the victim just walks up to the plant and the plant just goes wild.
Hey, what's going on? I saw the lights.
Russ.
Just imagine being put to prison because a plant identified you.
You're kidding me, right?
Obviously it's fake, fabrication.
It's a total fabrication.
But they actually labeled it as fact, so as something that is based on true events. And I was like, no fucking way. So I searched the highs and lows of the internet. By that I mean Reddit and YouTube comments, looking for a reference, a source from where that story actually comes from. I couldn't find any. The only link that people ever found was with this documentary made in '79 called The Secret Life of Plants, where there's a specific experiment that they do that is similar. And I decided to watch the documentary, and let me tell you, it was an experience. And I thought that it was so funny that I thought that we could watch it together. And that's what we're gonna do. It's an hour and a half, and I would say about an hour of it is completely irrelevant. It's either music playing or just them making claims that are absolutely not true.
Convinced that it possesses an intelligence, she is determined to teach it the Japanese alphabet.
Oh, I'm not gonna show you the whole documentary. I'm only gonna show you the good parts. I'm not kidding, that's how the documentary starts. That's the music that they picked for it. What in God's name is this just loud demonic music playing? No absolute dialogue, just... what?
Air, fire, water and earth.
I can't believe they foreshadowed Avatar. Oh, that's great. We just jump right back into just loud, obnoxious music. That's great. That's just how I like my documentaries. The more music and less dialogue it has, the better. That's what I always say. And then we have this beautiful gem that I'm going to show you because there's no way I can describe this scene to you that would be any funnier than just showing you.
Almost felt it was mad to conceive that plants thought felt and moved quite like we.
That plants thought and felt and moved just like we do. That honestly should be the ending of the documentary because they don't say anything else that is relevant beyond that. It's just some inspirational music playing while this frame-in-frame images play with lyrics. And also it's the whole song. It's 4 minutes.
Story of, yeah.
Well, that was a hoot. I'm ready to unlock that part of my brain.
Welcome to the Baxter School of Lie Detection. I'm Cleve Baxter.
My man Cleve. I know that names can't be pronounced incorrectly, and the correct way to pronounce a name is the way that the person who's named like that pronounces it. But this dude is English. I checked, and his name is spelled Clive. And he says it, Cleve.
I'm Cleve Baxter.
Cleve. That's honestly too good. But so basically my man Cleve, my boy, he's a polygraph expert for the CIA. He was considered to be very good until he started saying that plants had feelings and could identify murders.
Of a plant. In fact, the imagery of fire entered my mind, and I not only thought, but I fully intended to burn the very leaf that was being tested with a match. But the interesting thing is that right at the split second that imagery of fire entered my mind, the tracing reflecting the changes in the plant just went right off the top of the page. And the only thing that occurred at that time, no lighting of a match, nothing else, merely the imagery of fire.
This dude, he was doing a polygraph on a plant, which is already questionable enough. And he had the thought of setting it on fire. The thought! He didn't set it on fire. He just stunk it really hard, and the plant's polygraph just went off. And this man, a scientist, an expert in polygraphs, concluded that it must mean that the plant read his mind. Read his mind. I could not make that shit up.
I must say that as of 14 minutes along in that initial observation on the morning of February 2nd, 1966, my life just hasn't been the same.
His life hasn't been the same ever since he concluded that plants can read minds. He seems to be being paid by some type of organization to continue his research on plants. And I just want to know who's funding this. If you have some exposable income they're not using for anything, I'm right here. I'll give you my PayPal. I won't experiment on plants.
Baxter hopes to show that plants react to any termination of life in their immediate environment. During the next 6 hours, at some undetermined moment chosen by a randomizer, these brine shrimp will fall to their deaths in boiling water.
But honestly, if you think about it, this is really messed up. If Cleve actually believes that plants can sense death, boiling shrimp alive in front of the plant is just torture. In his mind, of course. And I guess in also the minds of all the plants around it that are going to feel his emotions.
In another room, completely separate from his laboratory, Baxter has placed a philodendron plant, a polygraph, and a videotape recorder.
Oh, alright, they're not even in the same room. The plant is just in a completely separate room. I wouldn't want them falling in love or something.
The video recorder will tape the details of the experiment in Baxter's absence.
Just driving in his car.
For the automation of this experiment to be successful, I have to get a certain distance away from my lab so that my consciousness won't affect the results.
He can't even be in the same building because his thoughts would influence the plant's feelings, and we wouldn't want that. We want to know what the plant really feels, if the plant's a psychopath. I'm legitimately intrigued. How does he calculate the range? Like, how far away does he actually have to be from the lab to not affect the plant? I have to know your math. Explain it to me, Cleve.
In spite of his high percentage of successful results, only a few daring individuals from the scientific establishment have come forward with offers to replicate his experiments.
We're not actually going to see more of Cleve. That's just how that transition goes, which is a real shame, because he's my heart.
And you don't just a couple of tips. Right.
Why was that shot like a porn scene? The music? The close-ups? I just know that I got put on some weird FBI surveillance list just from watching that clip. And I also have all of you. We're all in this together.
It's your emotional activity.
Okay. So there is some.
Now they're doing this polograph on this dude and some plants, and they're gonna show them movies. Lovely. I want someone who looks at me like that dude just looked at that plant.
Dr. Hashimoto, Managing Director and Chief of Research for the Fuji Electronic Industries, has constructed special instruments which translate the electrical output of plants into modulated sounds, giving voice to a cactus.
They make this machine that every time you touch a plant, it kind of just screams, which is kind of relatable. I just feel like they missed a really good opportunity. Much better.
Research conducted in the Soviet Union leads scientists to believe that plants may think.
We finally get into the part that I believe is the part that is actually inspired in the show.
Attached to delicate electronic instruments, a cabbage plant registers annoyance to the exhaling of tobacco smoke on its leaves.
What a square, it doesn't smoke?
In some mysterious way, the plant which is attached to the instrument is able to feel the mutilation of its comrade.
Mutilation of its comrade. Why is that so good? That truly is something that would only be said in the Soviet Union.
In a more advanced experiment, technicians were asked to pass through a laboratory containing 2 living cabbage plants. One of the subjects has been instructed to destroy the plant which is not attached to the electronic instruments. Hours later, the technicians are asked to return to the scene of the crime.
The scene of the crime.
The evidence is clear. The remaining plant has correctly identified the assailant.
So there you go. What a snitch. We're an hour in and I finally got an answer to my question. There was no polygraph, it was a machine that verifies something. I'm gonna say that's very far away from the Beyond Belief episode I watched, so I'm gonna name it fiction.
Pure fiction.
Total fabrication.
It's a total fabrication.
Then after that, they basically just go to these fairs where there's normal people, not scientists, who clearly are very passionate about their flowers, just saying stuff that is, yes, not very smart. I want to make fun of them because they're just kind of wholesome. So we're not going to make fun of them, except...
I don't think they understand English.
This is Jalapeno Pepper speaks Spanish.
Yeah. That one's pretty good. After that whole part, they just start discussing Dogon tribe, which is this already disproven, very famous alien theory about this African tribe, which you can look into it. I'm not even going to start on that. But I'm just confused why that's in this documentary. I watched the whole thing, waiting for the moment that, like, how they were going to relate it to plants, and they just don't, ever. So I don't understand, were you just making 2 documentaries at the same time? Did you forget to cut this part out? I don't understand.
You're kidding me, right?
I showed you everything that you actually needed to see. Everything else is completely pointless. That's it from me today. I hope you liked it. And I'm really excited to come back. I hope you guys are doing alright. I know that everything's kind of messed up for all of us, but I hope at least you're keeping safe and healthy and wearing your masks. All the references and sources that I used are going to be linked below, including the documentary. If for some reason this video made you really want to watch the whole thing, I promise you it's not going to be worth your time. But if you have an hour and a half to spare and you hate yourself, then the link is going to be down below. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye.